This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, so it is. So it returns. So it has been. So there you go. Yes, it never has mattered who the host is. Definitely always matters who the listeners are. But I guess it was a little difficult to listen last week because I wasn't here. Unless you were on Safety FM, then you got to listen to some reruns. But on Radio Big, we didn't do that to you. So anyways, how are you? How have you been? How are things? How is the world going? How is the world spinning? How are the things of the things of the things? How was your weekend? How was your week? I mean, how is life? I mean, there's so many questions to ask in such a little time. That is for sure. Anyways, today is Monday, October the 30th of 2023, day 303rd of the year. That's day 303rd of the year. No doubt about that. Only 62 days remaining before the end of the shit show. That's some exciting stuff, regardless on how you're looking at it. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Yeah, you know, we do it a little bit of everywhere. You know, USA, Canada, UK, you know, all that stuff. So we cover the North America side. We cover the UK side. That's on the Radio Big side of the house. If you're on Safety FM, it's worldwide, baby. I mean, it doesn't get any better than over there. You know, just some license agreement things on how we have it on Radio Big is really what kind of gives a breakdown there. But let's not get into the nuances of things. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what our show is going to be about, because I think you need to know about this. If you're not familiar with what we do, it's okay. We talk about safety, and we talk about the news, and we talk about news and safety. It becomes very convoluted in that particular regards, but that's okay. Those are the things that we do, and it's kind of a fun time. It's a fun time of us getting to hang out, talk, and do all that stuff. So that's going to be the fun stuff. So where was I last week? Well, I wasn't here. I had to do the vacationing stuff because I was informed that I needed to do it. So I was gone. That's what I was doing. It was nothing that was life-changing that I was doing. I don't want you to think about it that way. I was just gone doing the vacationing thing. I got to visit some islands, you know, that kind of fun stuff. Even though one can argue that I live on an island because, hey, I live in Florida, but that's a whole other story.
Duh.
So let's continue talking. So let's tell you right away about what the hell is, well, I guess before I tell you what's on tap for the trending stuff, maybe I'll tell you how to interact with the show if you so care to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's it, callinradio.com. That'll get you exactly into our little system here where you could do text messaging, video messaging, or audio messaging. Pretty simple once you get there. You type it into your favorite browser, and it gets everything moving for you. I don't know how else to simplify it, but that's what it is. Now let's talk about what the hell was trending, because we got some trends.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so in talking about the trends of the ends, let's talk about it. Sam Bankman-Fried takes the stand and UAW strikes a second deal. We'll talk about that. Goldie Hawn shares her extraterrestrial interaction, and 50 Cent is back to bashing Madonna. We'll talk a little bit about that. And there is more drama surrounding Disney's upcoming live-action movies, so we'll hear all about that fun stuff, because why would we not talk about it? Yeah, and by the way, just because it popped up on the screen, we're going to talk about the weekend box office in a bit, and I actually watched the #1 movie over the weekend that hit the box office. And I have some questions. Number one, I have some questions why I watched it. And then I have some questions on how it's #1. But hey, that's neither here nor there. But hey, it is what it is. No, seriously, it is what it is. That's the way that it goes. Anyway, so professional broadcasters hang out here. I don't know why, but they do. So I have Mark Mayfield waiting in the wing to talk to you. He wants to tell you exactly everything that's going on, because why would he not? So Mark is here to talk to you about the world of news. So why don't we go ahead and go his general direction and get that moving for you right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are discussing efforts to free hostages held by Hamas while stepping up the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. The White House says the two leaders spoke during a call Sunday morning in which Biden stressed the need to significantly increase assistance to meet the needs of Palestinian civilians. The call came as Israeli forces expanded air, sea, and ground operations against Hamas. Israel's military said its fighter jets struck more than 450 Hamas targets in Gaza since Saturday. The new Speaker of the House says a standalone funding bill for Israel will go on the House floor this week. Louisiana Republican Mike Johnson's comments were echoed by Texas Republican and House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCall.
Because the need is so urgent now in Israel. Start with Israel first, and then deal with the other as a separate measure. We'll have that on the House floor this week.
On Fox News Sunday, Johnson said he called on President Biden to separate bills to provide aid for Israel and Ukraine when he met with him last week. The Biden administration is proposing a combined $100 billion aid package that includes both Israel and Ukraine. Florida Governor and GOP presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis says better mental health oversight was needed in connection with the accused gunman in last week's mass shooting in Maine.
He clearly had problems. He was involuntarily committed. He would have been a prohibited possessor.
Speaking on NBC's Meet the Press, DeSantis said a reported mental health intervention for suspected shooter Robert Card wasn't enough. DeSantis said he would be more aggressive in cases where somebody demonstrates a danger to society instead of the government seizing weapons from citizens. Card was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound Friday night after allegedly shooting and killing 18 people in a bar and a bowling alley in the town of Lewiston. And the initial autopsy results for actor Matthew Perry are inconclusive and pending a toxicology report. The Friends star was found dead in his hot tub at home in Los Angeles on Saturday in apparent drowning at the age of 54. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. Israel's bombardment of Gaza continues as Tel Aviv reports killing, quote, dozens of terrorists. Palestinians say it's impossible to evacuate a key hospital in Gaza after Israel's warning. Thousands of civilians believed to be seeking refuge there as airstrikes target the area around the hospital. Bangladesh's opposition leader Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir, arrested after an anti-government protest demanding Sheikh Hasina resign turns violent in Dhaka.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
A top White House official says there's a real risk of the Israel-Hamas war escalating into a wider conflict.
We will continue to talk to our Israeli counterparts. We'll continue to ask hard questions about how they are thinking this through, how they are proceeding.
Appearing on ABC's This Week, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan noted the U.S. is working with other countries in the region in an effort to keep the conflict from expanding. He said the U.S. will continue to respond to attacks from Iran-backed groups and take every measure to protect American forces in the Middle East. House Speaker Mike Johnson says a subpoena for the president's son, Hunter Biden, is overdue. Speaking on Fox News, Johnson said that desperate times call for desperate measures, and the House will be moving forward very aggressively. Republicans are accusing President Biden of benefiting financially from his son's overseas business dealings. Former President Trump says that the federal indictments he is facing allow him to retaliate against President Biden if he wins the 2024 election.
They indicted me because I protested a crooked election.
Speaking in Iowa Sunday, Trump accused the Justice Department under Biden of cheating and targeting him for political reasons. He went on to suggest he could have gone after Biden when he was still in office, but had too much respect for the office. Trump is the overwhelming favorite currently to earn the GOP nomination for 2024. Jonathan Majors' latest film is being delayed indefinitely amid his pending domestic assault trial. Majors is currently involved in a domestic assault case with his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. The actor was going to star in Disney's bodybuilding drama Magazine Dreams, which was set to premiere in early December. And former Pittsburgh Penguins and Minnesota Duluth player Adam Johnson is dead at the age of 29 after an on-ice collision during a game in England. Johnson was playing for the Nottingham Panthers in the Elite Ice Hockey League on Saturday when an opponent's skate sliced his neck during the second period. Fans were told to leave the arena, and the Panthers announced on Sunday that Johnson had passed away from the incident. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com for more information. Lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, that's what we're about, bringing you information you never knew you cared about. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. Yeah, it's lovely, all right. Okay, that's what I have to say. Yeah, lovely Monday. So let's start getting into the shit list, because I think that that's going to be important because, hey, that's kind of what we do around here. We talk about the stuffo that is going on. No doubt about that. So Sam Bankman-Fried appeared to be on the witness stand in front of a jury for the first time in his fraud case on Friday. His defense attorney didn't unearth any testimony that was remotely, exonerating based on the reports from those inside of the room. The prosecution is expected to begin cross-examination today with the defense rebuttal and closing arguments to follow. The jury could get the case as soon as Thursday, so I guess that's something to think about. It could be an interesting week in regards to what is happening right there. No doubt about that one. Anyways, United Auto Workers and the Stellantis have struck a deal for a new union contract, and workers are expected to back on the job early this week as the union takes steps to formalize the contract. One major union victory includes reopening a plant that was shuttered in Illinois earlier this year that will put 1,200 people back to work. But wait, just as this deal is getting finalized, UAW expanded strikes against GM, this time targeting the plant in Tennessee that produces SUVs, and GM is the last of the big three holdouts following the deal with Ford last week. This is according to CNN. So that's according to CNN, just in case. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I mean, it's going to be interesting. No doubt about that one. Anyways, a Yale study shows that individuals conversing by video that use a lot less brain power than when they are face-to-face. I guess this explains a lot. We find that those social media systems of the human, or the social systems of the human brain, are more active during real live in-person encounters than on Zoom. The lead author writes that adding that Zoom is improvisionized social communication system relative to in-person conditions. The study also showed, shocker, that a better mutual understanding and interpretation of social cues between two people taking place in person compared to those on video. I don't know if we needed a whole study to figure that out. I mean, I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. I don't know if I have just given you some world-shattering information because of that, but just saying. Anyways, Panera restaurants are now actively warning customers about the dangers of their very own special drinks. Flashback: a young woman with a heart condition died last year after drinking Panera's Charged Lemonade, a caffeine-enhanced drink that reportedly has more caffeine than a Red Bull and a Monster energy drinks combined. Now the company is adding warning labels to its caffeinated offering days after that woman's family sued the restaurant chain and adequately obtained a warning of the potential risk of the drink. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of a weird one. Think about it for a moment. All of a sudden, there is a warning label on a drink that has caffeine in it. I don't know if I'm actually telling you anything that's kind of out of the ordinary. I mean, nobody wants to hear anybody dying about a drink, that's for sure. But it's one of those things that makes you go, there is a lot of questions. Anyways, Guinness World Records recently certified that a group of 465 couples gathered on the International Kissing Day. Hey now, on July the 6th to set the new record for the most people, eating a single piece of spaghetti simultaneously. The event was was put on by a German restaurant, Vampiano. Which is located in Germany. The eatery first set the record in 2020 to commemorate their limited edition dish, 60 centimeters or 2 feet, a long piece of linguine called Italian Kiss. Similar to the Lady and the Tramp stuff. The complete record couples had to eat the lengthy piece of pasta in under 30 seconds without breaking it. This is according to New York Post. Was news that slow that we needed to talk about this? Sounds like it. So let's talk about this, because this was kind of shocking that came out of the weekend. I think it was Saturday that I heard about this, but Matthew Perry has died. He passed away on Saturday at his home in Los Angeles. According to several sources, he drowned in his hot tub after suffering some kind of cardiac arrest. Perry is best known for his role as Chandler Bing on Friends. He also starred in 17 Again, Fools Rush In, The Whole 10 Yards, The Whole 9 Yards, and more shows and movies. He was only 54 at the time of his passing. Of course, they're still looking into some other things, just in case to verify that there was no foul play. But, I mean, there was a lot of shock hearing about that. I mean, 54, extremely young. I mean, it was all over social media in regards of what had happened. And, I mean, I will tell you, I couldn't believe it when I had heard about it. And just taking a look around, the amazement of the amount of people that were in shock about this going on. I mean, Chandler seemed to be to play, or the character that Matthew Perry played seemed to have a large impact in their lives. As those things do move forward. So, don't know what to say about it, that's for sure. Take a listen to this. Let's talk about some other things that were going on inside of the world of Hollywood. Let's talk about it this way. Let's talk about the box office, because people care about that stuff. We're going to go 10 to 1, because that's the best way to do it. And coming in at number 10, The Creator made $1 million. Number 9 was Saw with $1.6 million. The Nightmare Before Christmas, there was a re-release of it, was at number 8 with $2 million. And number 7 was $2.1 million, the movie Freelance. And number 6, Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie, $2.2 million. And number 5 was The Exorcist at $3.1 million. And number 4 was After Death with $5 million. And number 3 was Killers of the Flower Moon with $9 million. And number 2, believe it or not, Taylor Swift Eras Concerts was at $14.7 million. Now, the number 1 movie, according to the box office, was Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, listen, I don't know. My oldest daughter she was like, we should watch this. And I sat with her and we watched it. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, I'm not familiar with the video game. Apparently, it's video game based. It came in at number 1. It's $78 million. Now, I don't know. It had the blonde girl from You, season 1, and PETA. Yeah, I call him PETA. From the Cat Garrett movies, but I don't know. I mean, from Hunger Game fame, it was. I don't know. I guess I'm getting to that age, that old age.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I mean, watch it. It's on Peacock. It's already on Peacock. Yeah. It's already on Peacock. That should tell you something. So it is available, but it was still number 1 at the box office. So it's kind of an interesting thing for sure. Anyways, let's do this. Let's bring some Erin Royale into our lives and let her tell us about what the hell is going on with Money Matters.
The U.S. is putting new sanctions on Hamas and Iran's Revolutionary Guard. Treasury Department said in a statement on Friday that it was issuing a second round of sanctions targeting assets in a Hamas investment portfolio and people helping the Palestinian militant group evade sanctions. The new sanctions also target a Hamas official in Iran and members of Iran's Revolutionary Guard. The deputy U.S. Treasury Secretary says the sanctions underscore the U.S.'s commitment to dismantling Hamas funding networks. Ford is postponing about $12 billion in planned spending on new electric vehicle manufacturing. Silvana Anau reports.
The automaker says it is slowing down its investment because customers are increasingly reluctant to pay extra for EVs. Ford is not alone in hitting the brakes on EV plans. On Wednesday, Honda and GM said they're ending a $5 billion plan to develop lower-cost EVs together. Electric vehicle sales are still growing strongly, even at Ford, but not at the pace the automaker anticipated.
Taylor Swift is now a billionaire. Michael Kastner with more.
The latest Bloomberg Billionaire Index now lists Swift's net worth at $1.1 billion. Her record-breaking and highly successful Eras Tour boosted the U.S. economy over the summer with more than 50 shows and more dates scheduled next year. The pop icon has also been releasing re-recordings of her first 6 studio albums, including a new version of 1989, which came out today. Her new Eras Tour movie has been a box office smash, becoming the highest-grossing concert film ever on an opening weekend.
Consumer sentiment is falling on inflation worries. The University of Michigan's final reading for October fell about 6% after 2 months of very little change. The survey noted the decline was driven largely by higher income consumers and reflects recent weakness in the stock market. With consumer and business news, Aaron Real, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Aaron, for that information right there on what is going on in the stock-yaki world. Let's talk a little bit more detail, so let's go through it real quick. The Dow lost about 366 points to close at 32,417 on Friday. The S&P lost about 19 points to close at 4,117, and the NASDAQ increased by 47 points to close at 12,643. West Texas Intermediate closed at $85 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $89 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.49 on Sunday, and Bitcoin rally resumed over the weekend, up about $600 on that day, trading just around, $34,700. There was more than 2,765 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, with about 80 such cancellations. Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for a $159 million jackpot or a $69.4 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for a $137 million jackpot or a $60.2 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game is now ready to be played. Yeah, it's all about the game, and now we're playing. So let's go ahead and continue talking about some stuff that is going on inside of the world, because why would we not do that? Yeah, a lot of stuff, little time, all that kind of fun stuff. Take a listen to this. The city of Denver and local homeless shelters are working together through challenges with the arrival of the winter to house those in need. Stephen Hinkle with the Denver Rescue Mission says that the shelters has been at capacity since Thursday.
In our 131-year history, we have never been this busy at the end of any October.
But officials and organizers team up for the best ways that they can already growing homelessness crisis that needs in the city that collides with the freezing cold conditions. They stay on top of the forecast up to a week out in order to divert more resources. Derek Woodbury with the Denver Department of Housing and Stability says the 2 extra shelters open to remain available through at least tonight at the Coliseum and the Best Western at Quebec Street. They added 400 additional beds over the weekend to help them to be used through Saturday night. Emergency shelters are still open through tonight as well. Kathy Alderman from the Colorado Coalition of the Homeless says that the first storm of the season is always the hardest for organizers to work together for the wintertime resources.
Our outreach team takes a lot of gear out to the streets, including socks, hats, hand warmers, etc., to make sure that people can survive if they choose to stay outside.
Survive if they choose to stay outside. That's an interesting choice of words on how she put that there, but I guess framing is kind of important when you're talking. Take a listen to this. Oliver Township, Michigan, the Ottawa County Board of Commission will vote on this morning on the firing of County Health Officer Adeline Hambley after over a dozen hours of witness testimony last week. Chairman Joe Moss has this to say about last week.
Rather than acting competently and in good faith, Ms. Hamley unprofessionally resorted to extreme public hyperbole.
The board has the majority of the members who were backed for the conservative Ottawa Impact Group last November and have opposed Hamley since they took office in January. She's being criticized for going to the news media with information about the process of budget cuts and the health department this year after the county administration, John Gibbs, asked her to cut the budget to pre-COVID-19 levels with $2.5 million. The majority of the board wants to replace Hamley with Nathaniel Kelly, who opposed wearing a mask and social distancing during COVID-19. Also, Ottawa County Administrator John Gibbs criticizes the health officer handling Hamley actions during the budget negotiations when he testified last week.
Going to the public and going to the press through something that is still in process and not finalized yet, again, I think is highly irresponsible.
So there you go. There's going to be the two sides to the equation when it comes to that. You already know this. You know that some people are going to be like, no, the person did the right thing. No, the person did the wrong thing. It's just going to be always the matter of opinion of what exactly should have been done. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. You never know, because what is the right thing? What is the wrong thing? Let's do some other stuff real quick. Let's talk about this. A member of the Senate Intelligence Committee says that a reasonable concerns that families that will never again see loved ones who were taken hostage by Hamas. Take a listen to this.
Speaking on CNN's State of the Union, Republican Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma said it's a challenge to determine the best way to free Israeli and American hostages. Israel says Hamas is holding nearly 230 hostages and so far has freed only 4. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that. Don't know exactly what to say after that. Take a listen to this one. The judge overseeing President Trump's January 6th case is reinstating the gag order imposed on him. Mark Mayfield has the deets.
The limited gag order was temporarily stopped earlier this month, with the judge denying the former president's request to pause the order while his appeal plays out. The order denies Trump from making certain statements about both the special counsel team or potential witnesses. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for that one. Take a listen to this. The International Red Cross officials is calling the small number of trucks getting into Gaza with humanitarian aid a drop in the ocean. Take a listen.
Is only a small fraction of what the Gaza Strip and Gazans need today.
Speaking on CBS Face the Nation, Red Cross International Committee Director General Robert Mardini said that 6 trucks of aid arrived at Gaza on Friday and 3 more made it on Sunday. Mardini downplayed the concerns about the aid being diverted by Hamas. He said that the Red Cross uses very robust and rigorous measures to make sure that aid gets to the right places for the civilians in desperate need. Also, Robert went as far to saying that what has happened during the diversion. Take a listen.
We work in a direct implementation mode. We have our own staff delivering aid and services to individuals that are carefully vetted.
I mean, I don't know what the hell the guy was going to say, of course. I mean, it's going to be kind of hard with everything going on. I mean, what else were you thinking? Anyways, it is 33 minutes past the top of the hour. So what does that mean? Well, a couple of things. It means that we're kind of past due, and it means that it's time for our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, when you have the story of the main and the main of the story, there is some things that you need to talk about. There are some things that you need to address, and there are some things that need to be looked at as we go through the whole rigmarole of information of what is going on. So I wanted to talk about this today because, hey, I guess it's kind of interesting in regards of talking about it. So you know that people do kind of tend to disappear from time to time to do that little thing that they call vacaciones or vacations in some aspect. And that's where I got to come back from, you know, doing the vacation thing. And I've always looked at it from a very weird standpoint when you come back on what is your focal point. Because listen, I don't know how it goes in your life, but if you are doing the true vacationing of the world, you shouldn't be checking your emails while you're gone. You shouldn't be looking at any of the stuff that was happening. And I will tell you, when you decide to go out into the middle of nowhere where there is limited to no internet signal, I call that a plus for some. But if you're on the other side of the equation and you would live it up and you are on the internet still and checking your emails, is it really vacation? That's the other portion. But here's the thing. When you come back and you're taking off and you're doing everything and you're starting back up, how do you set these events up in regards of what has the most importance? Like, seriously. I ask this question because I look at it from the standpoint of you always have to be doing what's important when you get back, but how do you do the catch-up? Is the first day the lockup day? Is it the day that you just say, okay, I'm not interacting with anyone because I am just going to be catching up on what my emails say? And that's the fun part. There are different strategies for different folks. Now, if you're in a department where you have multiple people that you get to interact with, well, that kind of simplifies the process in regards of doing it. If you're not, well, then it could become a little bit more difficult to be able to move forward. I mean, I'm just saying. So what is your strategy when you come back? Because I don't really think that one strategy fits all. It just doesn't. But everybody has their own version of techniques of what they do to get it to work. Like today, after we're done with this little show, well, I have another show that I get to do. Because you know that we are an hour number one of a 3-hour show here. So if you're on the Safety FM side of the house, I'll be cutting away, but I will still remain on Radio Big for the next couple hours. But once I am done, I get to play catch up. I didn't realize that I had actually scheduled a doctor's appointment today, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. We can leave that whole thing for something else. So something to think about that. Yeah, I did the triangle thing just in case. So that's the stuff. So how do you strategize? How do you plan for these things? Because that's the problem that most people have is, oh, well, I went on vacation, but it's going to be a clusterfuck when I come back because of all the stuff that I have to do. Some people look at it that way. Some people look at it as, hey, I have other people that can take a look at what is going on. I have friends that I always kind of chuckle with because they're the only person that does the kind of work that they do. So then you're stuck. You're kind of looking at it from the standpoint of, I'm the only one that gets to do this. So if something goes terribly wrong, what am I going to do? So I look at it from the standpoint of, do you attempt to go to places where your phone might not work, where the internet is not accessible? And think about this. If you do these things, you really have to plan hard for this not to work. And I'm talking about for the phones not to work, for the internet not to work. So depending on how you play it out, you could get it to work. But what's your strategy when you come back? Maybe that's the one to think about. I would love to hear more about it. All you have to do is go to safetyfm.com, click on the little messenger box right there, and you can tell us all about the glorious things that you do when you come back to work. Because, you know, it's always a fun time, don't you think?
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. BIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. BIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with BIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take BIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking the truth.
The sun is dawning on a new day. The open road is what we came for. We feel the rush of blood in our veins. We can have it all, we can find more. And I know we're only waiting for the sun to show me. And all the dreams we have are ready for reality. We don't know, we don't care how we got here, but we won't stand still. It's time to go. We're on top of the world, yeah, we're feeling so good. Now we're walking on clouds, I think we'll bring us down.
Oh, yeah, baby. Rated R Safety Show, Safety FM, Radio Big, hanging out 43 minutes past the top of the hour, doing our thing. You know, feeling like we're on top of the world again. Yeah, right there. This is Tiger Run letting us know exactly what the hell is going on. No doubt about that. We would like to thank Tiger Run for allowing us to play this. You know, you can give this a little streamer-eamer action if you'd like. All you have to do is go to YouTube Music, Spotify, or Apple Music, and that will get you moving and grooving. Yeah, always the fun time in doing so. Yeah, just saying. You can be on top of the world as well. So there you go. Let's get into it. Let's start talking. Let's start moving. Let's start grooving. Let's look at everything that there is to do because, hey, it is important for us to hang out and do our thing. No doubt about that as we are talking. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now and things can and will get better. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to twloha.com. That's twloha.com. Once you get there, simple process, click on the section that says Find Help. All kinds of resources available right there on their site. Anything dealing from addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, resources, just to name a few. So To Write Love on Her Arms, twloha.com. Click on the section that says Find Help. Listen, we all go through struggles sometime, no doubt about that. To Write Love on Her Arms will probably be the best solution for you overall. Seriously, I'm telling you, it's all there for you right now. Let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the news and music and entertainment and all that kind of fun stuff because we do talk about this. Let's talk about Florida games, man. Yeah, why shouldn't we do this? It's the Olympics, Florida style, a unique competition set to begin next year. Will pit beer-loving and gator wrestling types against one another for it's being called the most insane athletic showdown on earth. The Florida Man Games, yeah, it's trademarked just in case, will feature, 9 down-home competitions inspired by all those Florida Man headlines that we've seen from the Sunshine State involving guns, crime, drugs, booze, reptiles, and all of the above. For instance, the evading arrest obstacle course in which a player jumps over fences through the backyards and tries to escape the actual police officers or their Category 5 cash grab, where participants try to grab as much money as possible in a win booth. Of course, anything called the Florida Games is going to have a mullet contest as well. In the beer belly sumo wrestling, the evening will finish with the police and firefighters battling out at the 911 fight night. Brawl and experience culture demonstration. To find out more information, this is not a joke, thefloridamangames.com. Seriously, thefloridamangames.com. Hey, I've got a few neighbors that I'd like to nominate to represent the Orlando market, but that's neither here nor there. The competition is set for February in St. Augustine, and you'll be able to see pretty much the same thing if you fly to Florida anytime. So, I don't know if this is a big event. So, it looks like it's Florida on the 24th. The 24th of February, if you're interested, and you can get tickets right now. I'm not joking. This is not a joke. Tickets range between $45 to $145. Yep, the Florida Man Games. I'm telling you, they have a little bit of everything right here.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
So there you go. Some info for you, some info for me. And we get it all rolling right there. Yeah. So let's talk about this. There has been, I guess I was going to talk about this, but I guess we're not talking about it because it didn't load. So there you go. No talking about that one. Let's talk about some other things that I wasn't going to mention, but we'll talk about it anyways. GOP presidential hopeful Chris Christie says that he supports the Biden administration's proposed combined aid package for Israel and Ukraine. Take a listen.
This aid is connected because these attacks are connected.
The former New Jersey governor said to CNN State of the Union that there is no doubt that Russia, China, Iran, North Korea all are working together to create violence in the world. He also responded to former President Trump's comments that the aid package to Israel and the Ukraine should be separated, saying that Trump just wants to coddle Russian President Vladimir Putin. Christie added the U.S. agreed in 1992 to protect Ukraine from Russia's invasion after Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons. Republican president candidate Chris Christie says the countries that they want to create violence.
There's no doubt that Russia, China, and Iran and North Korea are all working together to try to disrupt the world.
Christie says that former President Trump wants the aid package of Israel separated. Take a listen why.
He wants to continue to coddle Putin, as he's done from the minute he became president of the United States, and then going forward from there.
So what do you think? I don't know. Some stuff to think about. Take a listen to this one. Police say that Tyler Phillips in the shooting that killed 2 and wounded 16 others in Ybor City early Sunday morning. Take a listen to Chief Lee Burkaw says that 2 people got into an argument on 7th Street.
Early indications it was a dispute between the 2, and then that dispute grew.
Burkaw was then recovered 2 guns from the scene.
We know that 1 wasn't stolen and 1 was stolen.
The dead are 20-year-old man and a 14-year-old boy. The teenager's father says that is the second son that he's lost to a gun violence. Tampa chief of police also says the victims' families have this message for the police in the community.
That they want justice, and they're appreciative of the community coming forward and providing the tips that helped us place those charges.
So very interesting stuff going on right there. Halloween coming up. As you are aware, this is tomorrow. The Washington State Fire Marshal's Office is urging you to be safe during Halloween. Brad Ford reports.
Kids are at risk trick-or-treating in the dark, and Halloween decorations can be fire hazards. If kids are going to Halloween parties, show them how to identify at least 2 escape routes. Avoid having costumes with long trailing fabrics. If you have jack-o'-lanterns outside of your home, don't use candles. Instead, use battery-powered candles or glow sticks. Keep dried flowers, corn stalks, or other decorations away from open flames or heat sources, and make sure smoke detectors are working. Brad Ford, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Brad, for that one, for what you had to say. The last 3 months of the year have been deadly on Washington State roads. Take a listen to this.
Between 2018 and 2022, crashes killed 776 people. 40% involved impaired drivers, 30% had speed as a factor, and nearly 30% of the fatalities were pedestrians or cyclists. The Washington Traffic Safety Commission and the Washington State Patrol have launched the Home for the Holidays Traffic Safety Campaign through New Year's Eve. Troopers will be watching for speeding, impaired driving, seatbelt use, and distracted driving. Brad Ford, NBC News Radio.
I kind of feel like that's going to be everywhere that they're going to be doing that stuff. But hey, who knows? Who knows these days? Anyways, let's do this. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. Today's quote was submitted by Connie. Zoe Clark Coates said, "Whenever I see someone with an abundance of empathy, I want to ask what heartbreak they have endured, for compassion is often birthed in the valley of despair." I get that completely. I had somebody ask me why I go out of my way to help people who struggle with addiction. I'm not 100% sure, but I guess it's because my father was an alcoholic. I say was an alcoholic because he died at just 49. That's too young. He never had a chance to meet my wife. He never met my kids. He missed out on so many things. I think that may be the reason my heart goes out to others who struggle with that particular addiction. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Pfizer and BioNTech are beginning a Phase 3 trial for the combined flu and COVID-19 mRNA vaccine. Brian Shook reports.
The pharmaceutical company reported positive results from its Phase 1 and 2 study meant to look at whether the new shots are safe and effective. Pfizer said the Phase 3 trial will look for any potential side effects and will begin in the coming months.
There's a new report out showing that more than half of Americans are having a very tough time paying for health care. A new Commonwealth Fund survey shows health care is unaffordable for many working-age adults, even those with employee-sponsored insurance. Of those who purchased insurance on their own, including on the Affordable Care Act marketplaces, with almost 40% saying they opted out of needed medical care or prescription drugs over the past year because they couldn't afford it. Health Update, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, 54 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. So let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. As I take a look around back in 2012, this was a big day for some. Disney purchases Lucasfilms, Lucasfilms Ltd. and the rights for Star Wars and Indiana Jones for $4.05 billion. The buyout was at the time Disney's fourth largest deal ever. That happened back in 2012. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about that. Devin Booker turns 27. Let's see. Ashley Barnes, 34. Janelle Parrish, 35. Ashley Graham, 36. Ivanka Trump turns 42. Matthew Morrison, 45. Edge the Wrestler, yeah, Adam Copeland for you, 50. Nia Long turns 53. Gavin Rosdale, 58. And Henry Winkler, yeah, he turned 78 today, just in case if you're looking at some birthdays. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you. It's National Text Your Ex Day. Good luck with that. National Checklist Day. Create a Great Funeral Day. Haunted Refrigerator Night. And Mine Rescue. And then, of course, last but not least, well, it's National Candy Corn Day.
It was created in 1898 in America and morphed over the years into what we now know as candy corn. And Americans love it, eating 35 million pounds of it every year. AlwaysAtreat.com says 51% of us eat them whole. That's the right way. 31% eat the tip, and 18% start at the bottom and work their way up. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
I think that some of us should just take a pass, but that's a whole other thing to have a discussion about. That is for sure, as we are talking. Anyways, as we are hanging out and talking about all kinds of fun stuff, no doubt about this. So let's do some other thingos, some other things, because hey, why would we not do this? As we take a look around, let me go ahead and tell you some things, because that's what I do. That's what I do around here. What I can't even think about what I was going to tell you. Let me tell you real quick, if you're looking for a phone starter for today, this is what it sounds like. What's cheap Halloween costume you can throw together if you have no money or time? That could be a good one. If you need a random joke for that one, try that. Or if you need a random joke today, try this one. If one door closes and another door opens, your house is probably haunted. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question: 40% of homes that have this are difficult to sell. What is it? The number 13 in the address. Seriously, the number 13. Yeah, because, Spooky City, USA, all that kind of fun stuff. I don't know why people get weird about things like that, but they just do. It just happens. It's the way that the world goes. So think about that as we are hanging and doing all kinds of fun stuff. No doubt about that. Anyway, so with that being said, that's going to end our time together. At the top of the hour, I will be going over exclusively to Radio Big, hanging out there if you want to come and hang out and do the things that we get to do over there. If not, you can stay on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. That's what happens. Seriously, the world of safety consulting. So there you go. Anyways, thanks for being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it does not make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. No doubt about that. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. Think about that. That one can take you to places that you've never been before. Seriously. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye. Hope to see you on the Radio Big side of the house in the next few minutes or so. Seriously.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.